said, how would you close that gap?
Yeah, how would you close
Give me,
that?
what you pulling? Okay, get that. Give me Deuteronomy 7 and 6, and then start with that, right? And then Aharon, give me Deuteronomy 10 and 12. Give me 2nd Esdras 6 and 54. And then after you get this, go to Acts 13 and 1. All right, watch this. I'm gonna try to answer your questions, right? Go ahead.
Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art an holy people.
We are what?
For thou art an holy people.
So, King, the word holy means separate. We're not supposed to be like the rest of the nations. We supposed to set ourselves apart. Well, the Most High has given us laws, statutes, and commandments to set us apart from the other nations. The reason we are joined to them is because we following after the Constitution and the ways of the other nations. But if we were following our heritage, it would set us apart from the rest of the world. Because he called us to be a separate nation, right? Watch this.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
All men is created equal.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Nah, they better than us because they got a 400-year head start.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
So we were born to be above all people that are up on the face of the earth. That's why we're the best at everything, right? That's why we get into these different, like the Olympics, the NBA, the NFL, music, cooking, anything we get into, we become the best at it. And we set the bar, and then they follow behind us, right? What you got, King?
Isaiah chapter 43, verse 1. But now thus said the Lord that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed thee.
What?
Redeemed thee. Redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine.
Thou art what?
Thou art mine.
So these people on this sign, the so-called Jews, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that we know of today, they're really the people of God. And the Most High has chosen them to be separate and above all people. That's why even though we have, they have a 400-year head start, right? If you look, they might, I'm not sure what that is. I ain't gonna, he might be, you know. But even though they have a 400-year head start, they still look to us for certain matters because we the best at everything, right? We the salt of the earth. But I'm gonna answer your question. I'm just trying to prove a point to you, right? All right, go ahead.
2 Samuel 20 and 23.
7 and 23.
7 and 23.
My fingers are low. Yeah, I know.
7 and 23.
Bring it up.
And what one nation?
And what?
And what one nation?
What nation on the earth, besides the so-called children of Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American, right?
And what one nation in the earth is like thy people, even like Israel?
Even like who?
Even like Israel.
Even like who?
Even like Israel.
Now, what nation can you think of that can cook better than these people right here? That can dress better than these people right here? That's more athletic than these people right here? That's smarter than these people right here? That's wiser than these people right here? That move according to your so-called Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Haitians, Black, Jamaicans? What people on the earth are like these people right here?
I'll be honest with you. I haven't gave any of that much thought.
Okay.
My focus is on other things.
Okay.
My focus is I understand where you're coming from, but my focus is on the younger generation upon the books.
Gotcha.
I asked you that question for a reason.
Okay.
What gap has we closed? How would you see yourself catching up?
How do we come back, right?
Yeah.
But I was proving, I'm gonna answer your question, but I was proving to you that these people are special, right?
Right.
And in order for them to claim that special heritage is something that you have to do. So at the beginning, I'm just painting the premise that these people are set apart. Now I want to show you how and why, right? What you holding? This is how we start to do it right here.
Bring it on.
Go ahead.
Zephaniah 2 and 1. Gather yourselves together.
Do what?
Gather yourselves together.
What are we doing?
Gather yourselves together.
What are feast days?
Gather yourselves together.
What are Shabbats?
Gather yourselves together.
Go ahead.
O nation not desired.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So, yeah, keep going.
before the decree bring forth,
Uh-huh.
before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
Kind. So give me 2 Corinthians 13:5. So what we have to do, and then what else you holding?
Deuteronomy 6:12.
Yeah, hold that. Give me what you holding?
Acts 13:1.
Hold Acts 13:1, but give me 1 Kings 8, and I think I want to start at
46.
46. Yeah. So we have to gather ourselves together, King. We can't gather ourselves unto Christmas because that's not our heritage. We can't
Correct.
gather ourselves unto Thanksgiving because that's what the slaughtering of our brothers. We can't gather ourselves unto any of these things. Like if we gather ourselves with the white man, bro, we gonna end up being homosexual as a nation because that's what they perpetrate, right? So we have to gather ourselves together, but when we gather, we gotta gather in righteousness. You understand that? All right, watch this. Bring out that Deuteronomy
The book
10.
of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, and verse 12. And now Israel,
And now who?
And now Israel.
And now Israel, which is us, King. Go ahead.
what doth the Lord thy God require of thee?
Now you're saying, how do we widen the gap? Well, the Most High has required something of us. When we come together, we have to follow out in what He's required of us. We can't come together just for barbecues, or just for smoke sessions, or just to hoop, or play dominoes and spades. We got to gather ourselves together in righteousness, right? Watch this.
But to fear the Lord thy God,
Uh-huh.
to walk in all his ways,
Uh-huh.
and to love him,
Uh-huh.
and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul.
Right?
To keep the commandments.
To do what?
To keep
the
the
commandments.
commandments.
What are we supposed to do?
To keep the
the
commandments
Go ahead.
of the Lord
Right?
and his statutes,
Right.
which I command thee this day for thy good.
For what?
For thy good.
For what?
For thy good.
So the Most High has established customs that are set up for us for our good. And if in order for us to come back and close that gap that you were speaking of, we got to start back walking like we're supposed to walk.
That's right.
We can't be niggas. We can't even be black, right? Your hat is black. Your jacket is black. Your skin is not black, right? You're a beautiful shade of brown like the rest of these brothers out here. And the longer we identify as these derogatory terms like black, African American, nigger, that pushes us further away from what we're supposed to be. Somebody give me 1 Peter 2:9. Bring out that Acts 13:1.
Brother Thumb.
Somebody else get it. Whoever, I'm not holding it.
First Peter 2:9.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that next. What you got? Okay, hold it. Go ahead. Go ahead, Kid.
Give me Nehemiah 13:21.
You might just have to bring it out, brothers holding.
Brothers hold it. Appreciate it.
And you can break it down, Ak.
So when you read Nehemiah 13 and 21, he basically told them, look, if y'all come back on the Sabbath day, I'm gonna lay hands on y'all. Meaning we was controlling the the business operation on the commerce on the Sabbath day. If we understand how to keep the Sabbath day by, we don't supposed to be doing no business on a Sabbath day. It's a rest day for us. Everybody's supposed to be resting. Your workers supposed to be resting. That when we start getting that understanding, we will control the economics about that.
So which day is the Sabbath day?
That's a good question.
That's a great question. Now,
You want
Genesis, yeah, go ahead. Somebody pull it. That's a
know
great
which
question.
one, but I'm-
That's a great question, King. You can get Exodus 2, Exodus 20. But in Genesis where it was established.
Okay.
Matter of fact, get both of them.
Exodus 20. I got it.
All right. That's a great question,
I think
King.
Nakai holding one on your last point, then you can go into the.
What are you holding?
Acts 13:1. And oh yeah, Luke 19:27 about how to close the gap.
Okay, go ahead, King. Watch this. I'm gonna answer your question, but I was already holding some stuff. I want that to come out as well. All right, go ahead.
Luke 19:27. But those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. And when he had thus spoken, he went before ascending up to Jerusalem. So I guess the point on that, what he was saying is, that's one way that we gonna close that gap that they have on us is Christ, Yahushua is gonna put us back. He's gonna come back and redeem his people, and the Most High God is gonna put us on top of our enemies.
Right. Because like we were saying before, bring out that Acts 13:1. I'm gonna show that right quick. Like we were saying before, the longer we identify with all these other derogatory terms and bywords that the enemy has given us, the longer you call yourself black, you're not gonna call yourself priest. The longer you call yourself African American, you're not gonna call yourself king. The longer you call yourself nigger, you're not gonna identify as a child of God. Right? You know what I'm saying? And these things that they've been calling us perpetually have been going on for generations, right? So watch this.
Acts 13 and verse 1. And now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called nigger.
They were called what?
Nigger.
What did they call them?
Nigger.
What did they call them?
Nigger.
What do they call us?
Nigger.
They've been calling us nigger for generations. So the longer we identify with that, the further we're gonna be pushed away from being who we actually supposed to be, right?
I'm gonna leave y'all with something. Y'all tight in your study, real tight. But the thing is, I asked that question about the 400 years for a reason. Most of anything I asked you was for a reason.
Okay.
The reason why I asked the question about the 400 years, because that's all you've been hearing people talk about for years, right?
Right.
Some of us blacks will make it, get rich, think we done made it.
Right.
What about the rest? You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Now, you out here, you preaching the word, and guys walking by, some hear it, some get a glimpse of it. They got enough. I don't know if it's you guys that be in Dallas also.
It's a lot of congregations of
Right.
belief, so it might not be us, but
My thing is, man, this is what I'm gonna say. About the 400 years, I don't see us ever, not in my lifetime, your lifetime, probably your kids' lifetime, ever catching up. And another thing is, I don't see us ever. This in my lifetime.
When you say catch up, what you mean?
What I mean by is becoming together as one with our family, our kids, and everything. You got to first get your house straight before you can do anything else. You see what I'm saying? So in order to lead, you got to lead by example. I can hear you read the book every day and talk to me and tell me what's right in it. I can learn everything you got in it.
That's right.
But if you ain't showing by example, what I mean getting out there, doing something, not just standing there reading. I'm talking about actually let people see that you actually care. The youngsters is the one that need reaching. Believe me, when a person get up my age and ain't got it, he a lost soul.
Watch this. I get what you're
You know what I'm saying?
Watch this. How old are you?
20.
He's 20 and he out here with us.
He 20.
Right.
But
So it is the youngsters.
He young. I'm talking about the ones that's 10.
I wanna-
Read around with verse 6.
I want to ask you a question though,
That's what
Leonard.
we're
I want to ask you a question though.
Them
You
the
know,
ones are blind that need help.
and Leonard, we see them come out here. It's been, this is, and it's not that we're not the only organization like this that's doing this. But then we would have to ask you, brother, what are you giving the youth, the
I
youngest?
give a lot.
Okay.
I give a lot to him. When I find one and he stand there and listen to what I tell him,
Uh-huh.
I tell him how life gonna be if he continue traveling the road that he's traveling.
But do you think what you giving them will suffice, or you think they need this more?
Sirach
I think
chapter
they need
30.
both of them.
Somebody get Sirach 30.
I think they need
Watch
this
this.
and what I tell them.
Yeah, it's a
Watch
balance.
this. Watch this.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6 and verse 2. That thou mightest fear the Lord thy
Start
God.
at 1.
Con. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments, which the Lord your God commanded to teach you, that you might do them in the land whither ye go to possess it. That thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments,
Right.
which I command thee, thou and thy son,
And thy what?
thou and thy son,
Go ahead.
and thy son's son,
So thou, thy son, and thy son's son. Go ahead.
all the days of thy life,
Uh-huh.
and that and that thy days may be prolonged.
Uh-huh. Let's hit on that.
Yeah,
What you got?
This is Jeremiah chapter
Think you can jump down.
Jeremiah chapter 3 verse 14. Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord. For I am married unto you, and I will take ye one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion,
See, and the one thing you gotta understand too, King, the Most High don't want everybody.
That's right.
It's a large portion of our people that is not going to make it into the kingdom of heaven.
That's right.
Right? Neither are they prophesied to make it into the kingdom of heaven.
You remember,
Zechariah 13.
Noah.
somebody.
well, that's what you just said. I learned that on my own years ago.
Right.
See, Noah, he built an ark.
Uh-huh.
And he went out and tried to get all the people to do right, and he couldn't get them to do right.
That's right.
So many of them was called. Many
So you were
people was
chosen.
called. But who was chosen?
Mhm.
Out of all the ones he went out and got, who was chosen?
Right.
What it was, Noah's family.
8 people out the whole world.
So that tells you, if only 8 made it through the first time,
Mm-hmm.
it might be slimmer this time.
I mean, it's
Because I mean,
it tell you the percentage of people that's gonna make it.
That's
Watch
right.
this.
That's right.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 13 and verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land,
In what?
that in all the land,
So in all the land, right, that you can think of in the 4 corners of the earth, right?
saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die.
To what?
2 parts shall be cut off and die.
So 2/3 of all the people in the land are gonna be cut off and die. They're not gonna make it. They are literally made as vessels of destruction.
Right.
They were made to be destroyed, right? Watch this.
But the third shall be
But 1/3
shall be left therein.
shall be left therein. And this is referring to the children of Israel. 2/3 of our people are going to be cut off and die.
That's right.
The same way that happened in the wilderness with Moses. When we came out of Egypt and we journeyed into the wilderness, all the elders was killed off.
That's right.
They had to die. Even Moses didn't make it into the chosen land. Joshua and Caleb rose up and they were the leaders because the Most High does not need you. He has people that he's chosen, but he don't need you. He can rise somebody else to fulfill your lot in your spot. That's right. So the only way that we gonna make it is by the skin of our teeth, grace and mercy, and our obedience. Right? You know what I'm saying? What you got? Isaiah 30?
Bring that up.
Sirach 30 and 1. He that loveth his son cause them all to feel the rod.
So we as men of the Lord, right? We go out here and teach and prophesy on the highways and byways, right? And we prophesy to the wind if nobody is listening, because it's our job. We've been commissioned to do these things. However, like you said, it does start in our household, and I can speak specifically for these men up here. They're teaching these things to their daughters and their sons, right? It's our job to rise up a righteous generation, right? But it's not our job to force people to hear it. All we can do is speak it. Whether you receive it or not, that's on you and the Most High and the spirit that he put on you.
That he may have joy of him in the end. And he that chasteneth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance.
Jump to what I want.
3.
That's what I want.
Avengers.
He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy.
He that what?
Teacheth his son grieveth the enemy.
So we teaching our son because we know he's gonna grieve with the enemy. If I teach him a king, you can't teach him that he a thug, right? If I raise him up to be a prophet, you can't raise him up to be just an athlete. Or
That's
a rapper,
right.
Or whatever the case may be. He gonna know that he much more than that. That he's the salt of the earth. That he got sins from the Most High God.
That's right.
And before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Though his father die,
So when I die and when I pass, Yahweh willing, go ahead.
it says, yet he is as though he were not dead.
Yahweh willing, it's gonna be like I'm not dead, because the same things that I've lost, my son's gonna carry on that legacy. Right? Go ahead.
It says, for he hath left one behind him,
I have what?
left one behind him.
And that's why we also gotta look to the generations of old, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So we grab their teaching and they leave them behind avengers like us. We cleave unto the words of the prophets, because the prophets show us how to navigate throughout this darkness, right? Go ahead.
It says, yet he as though he were not dead, for he hath left one behind him that is like himself. Wow. Keep going.
Where's the one that's avenger?
He said
He left behind him an avenger.
He what?
He left behind him an avenger.
Go ahead.
Against his enemies, and one that shall requite kindness to his friends.
See, we gonna leave behind an avenger, somebody that's gonna grieve the nations for the sake of the Most High God, right? You know what I'm saying? That's what we raising up in these last days. You got to appreciate it. Hold on, go one more point. Go ahead.
And that's the point. The fact that we don't know our history allows our children to be behind enemy lines. They don't know it. They might not show it when they're gathering with these other nations and things of that nature, and they teaching us their culture. But that's why we have to come back to the laws and the statutes and commandments.
Go ahead,
Right.
Ken. That's a good point, Ken.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child.
You see that? Because foolishness, if you don't teach them, foolishness is going to abound in their heart. They're going to cleave to the ways of the world. They're going to cleave to what their friends, which is their main influence, right? What they're doing. And they're going to cleave unto the foolishness of the world, right? Go ahead.
But the rod of correction shall drive it far from him.
But the rod of correction will drive it far from him. And that starts with the stern firmness that the Most High has established for his nation. The correction. In order for us to get where we have to go, we have to know where we've been. We have to know the past, King. We gotta know and establish who we were of old so we can come back to that. We know if we start at the slave boats, we know all about that. But you can't tell me that these people were so important that you went across the waters to get these people and bring them to a new land just to be slaves. They had to be more than that. They had to be more than that. Otherwise, it don't make sense, right? What you got, King?
Just going off the point that he made, talking about the times of Noah. This is Matthew 24 and 37. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving marriage, until the day of Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So the point that we're trying to make is, yeah, you're right. It's only going to be a small number that's going to be saved. But I hear a lot of times people make the same comment that you made, like, well, what else are y'all doing besides just reading? Well, it says in the scriptures, blessed are those who read it.
That's right.
Just like my life totally changed with this information, somebody bringing it forth to me, so we're doing the same thing. But like you said, if we sow the seed, if it's not meant, we can't force it. Just these words could change a whole generation, and it will. It's prophesied that these words that we speaking, even in the wind, it's going to change. It's going to bring forth.
Somebody give me Matthew 27.
Like Leonard, how old are you, brother?
No,
You 59? Right? You say you 59. You just heard recently on TV that Christ is a black man. For
Yeah,
59 years, brother.
He about to
And now that
first
seed
one
has
out
been
of
planted,
there.
and now here you are walking a couple weeks later, days later, you come out here and then you hear the prophets of the Lord bringing the word out, telling you the same thing.
1 Peter 2 and 9. 1 Peter 2
You know, the thing is, you always hear people talking about catching up and stuff like that.
That's the thing. Are we trying to catch up, brothers? Hey, man,
They didn't set the bar. They didn't set the standard.
But get ahead would
get
be,
that saints to take the kingdom, man.
to me, it would be the same thing as catching up. You know?
What'd you say, brother?
I say getting ahead would be the same thing as catching up. Now, I like everything that y'all read. I wouldn't even stop if it didn't catch my ear. I didn't hear something good. I'd never even stop. You know what I'm
But see,
saying?
this is the thing, though, King.
The only thing that can't be caught up is Esau's recompense for what he owes us.
That's right. That's right. We not
Never, ever catch that up.
we not trying to catch up. We trying to catch in on the kingdom, right?
I'm gonna ask you this, and I'm gonna leave.
Well,
Y'all know the signs of when the earth is coming to the end. And then I'm gonna ask you one question and see can one of y'all answer.
The Most High said the only sign we're gonna get is the sign of Jonas.
And he says that the Most High is not going to be coming in the observation of men, right?
They I read some the signs when the earth is coming to an end when you see
Oh, he want that Matthew 24.
young
That's what he
babies.
just said. Like,
Oh, okay,
young
good.
babies talking.
we literally just said that.
When you see
Pestilence.
when you see
Rumors of
Wars and rumors of wars.
volcanoes getting close, the sun going
Yeah.
to get sun.
And we watch, and that's why the Most High set us up as watchmen. So not only do we out here prophesying our people to let them know who they are, we prophesying the downfall of America and the return of Messiah. When you, this is why, like we said, it's important to read this.
Right.
Because if you're not reading this, those signs gonna go right past
Teach,
you.
huh?
We're not gonna know what's happening, right? The Most High has set these things up so that we can look to these things almost like a playbook or a checklist. Okay, Dang, that just happened. We can cross that off. Okay, there go the blood moon. I go to wars and rumors of wars. Here go the pestilence. And all these things, these prophecies got to come to pass before the Messiah return. So we got that checklist in order, or we are aware that there is a checklist. Now we know what to watch for. And when these things come to pass, we just know it's getting closer and closer to that time. Sister, you're an Israelite. You got to keep the commandments and repent. Go ahead.
This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, and that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. And that man of sin.
And that what?
And that man of sin.
And the what?
And that man of
Which
sin
will be the so-called white man, the beast of the field, right? Go ahead.
be revealed.
Uh-huh.
The son of perdition.
And he's being revealed in these last days. How? Through pedophilia, through homosexuality, through rape, rob, and murder. You can't get away from it. If you believe that this man is your friend after all the blasphemies and atrocities he's created throughout the earth, then you are made to be destroyed.
That's right.
Period.
Hey, can I say something?
Go ahead, Kid.
So what he bringing out, brother, is an answer to your question. You say, what is the sign that we are at the end of the world? The brother brought out a prophecy that when the man of sin is revealed, then the end is near.
That's right.
Brothers are out here revealing that man of sin right now.
That's right.
Let's answer your question.
Teach, right? We understand that in order for this book is alive. This is not something like a fairy tale book or something that people just talk from. No, we're still living this book.
That's right.
We're living these days out. So as we continue to live and we continue to generate in the earth, different things are going to come to pass. And there are certain signs in the end times that have to come to pass in order for the Messiah to reveal himself to us, right? What you holding? You still got what you holding?
You know, who was it?
I got you. I got you.
400 years we were disconnected.
Discontinue from
right?
my heritage. Jeremiah 17.
And he didn't speak to God. During that time there, I ain't good with the Bible. I had read I don't know whether it was Daniel. It was somebody asked him. They was asking him about heaven, and he said you hadn't learned the ways of earth yet. So if you don't know the ways of earth, how can you know the ways of heaven? So he asked him just like this. He say,
You still got that Matthew 22:26?
he asked him something like, how could you measure
Yeah.
a bushel of fire?
Yeah, that's second Esdras he's talking about.
Yeah.
Second Esdras chapter 4. Yeah.
And I don't forgot who was asking the question, but he told him to go back and fast for so many
Esdras
days.
was asking, Uriel.
Right,
Yeah.
he had to come back. So at the end of it, he asked him about 3 different things. At the end of it, he
He
said,
asked
well,
him, could you recall the day of times past?
yeah.
Could you weigh fire, and how long is a wind blast? I believe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And he said, well, if you don't understand the ways of earth, how can you understand the ways of heaven?
Come on, so the elder tapped the Apocrypha, man. You know what I'm saying?
Come.
So that's a mighty reference, right?
Right.
To understand that if you can't understand how much fire weighs and you deal with fire, you got a light on your hip.
Right.
But that little blast of that fire that come out that lighter, if you can't tell me how much that weigh, how then can I speak to you heavenly things, right?
Right.
And the scriptures always say the spiritual things are discerned by the spiritual, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm paraphrasing. You're not going to be able to understand spiritual things by operating in your flesh, right? You know what I'm saying? But I got another precept for you, a few more actually, and now I'll let you be on your way, King. Go ahead, King.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 22 and verse 36. Master, which is the great commandment in the law?
So somebody asked Yahushua HaMashiach, who the world calls Christ, what's the great commandment of the law?
Jesus, better known as Yahushua, said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul,
19.
and with
Matthew
all
19.
thy mind.
So like, bring it back, King. Start from 37.
All right, come on. Jesus, Yahushua said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart.
So the first thing you got to do is love the Most High God with all your heart. This is how you get the kingdom of heaven. This is how we rebuild our nation. This is how we gather the saints together, right? Go ahead.
And with all thy soul,
Uh-huh.
and with all thy mind.
Uh-huh.
This is the first and great commandment.
Do you love the Most High God? You do? How do you love him?
I love him by obeying some of his commandments. I ain't no righteous person, man.
Now, I gotta ask you a question.
To be honest with you.
That's an honest answer.
That's
an honest answer.
Being honest with you. You know what I'm saying?
It ain't necessarily the right answer, but it's an honest answer, right?
Right.
You know, you are elder.
If I feel like this, if you love him, you know, if you truly love him, you're gonna go out there and hard. You're gonna do everything you supposed to. You're gonna do all the 10 Commandments.
So you don't love him.
I love him, but I don't do all the 10 Commandments.
So you kind of love him.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Come on, elder.
I'm kind of struggling.
I
man.
got you. You love yourself a little more. It's a struggle. That's what the Most High.
It's not really about myself.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
The
But one
spirit is
thing,
willing, but the flesh is weak.
one thing, that's it. One thing I would never do is disown them or play with them. Those things there I never do, but I'ma always,
Thou sayest.
I'ma always speak the
That's
truth.
a-
When it come to anything about God or Jesus, I'ma always speak the truth on that. I ain't gonna try to shine or nothing on that.
Right.
If I tell you, hey, I love him, but I'm still messing up. That's what it is.
I feel that. That's thorough of you to say, right? However, being an elder and seasoned in age is more required of you, right?
I'm gonna be honest with you. The requirement I'm trying to fulfill is live to the next day the way the world lives, and make sure my kids live to the next day, and treat people with respect.
How do you? Are we living or are we just surviving?
Man, it look like it's both of them.
Now we just dwelling. We're kind of surviving because you don't begin to live until you come to the words of life. This is how you live, by actually doing what the scripture says in order to live. It says, keep my commandments and live. What is it, Proverbs 7:3? 7. Somebody get that real quick. Proverbs 7:1. What we doing, we just dwelling, surviving, right? But until you begin to follow the words of the Most High, you're not really living.
I just try to keep 23.
Let's move
in my
on.
head.
Watch this.
I try to keep Proverbs 23 in my head.
It's all right to keep that one, but it's some more you need. Because you said 10 commandments is actually 613 commandments, King.
See, I don't know about the other.
That's why the Most High sent you here, so we can tell you that.
I know about the 10.
Go ahead.
Proverbs 7:2. Keep my commandments and live.
Do what?
Keep my commandments and live.
Do your own thing.
Keep my commandments and live.
I'm gonna just do a few of them.
Keep my commandments and live. And my laws as the apple of thine eye.
So keep the commandments and live. That's how you start to live, right? Because if you're not keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments and moving according to the word of the Father, you're not really living. You really fit to die, right? And He can take you out at any moment, right? Okay, what you got? Go ahead.
Baruch 4:1. This is the book of the commandments of God and the law that endureth forever.
How long?
Forever.
Just a season.
Forever.
When I feel like it.
Forever. All they that keep it shall come to life.
Right.
But such as leave it shall die.
Shall what?
Shall die.
Shall what?
Shall die.
Right? So if you're not keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, you're fit to die. I'm gonna give you an example, King, and I'm not just outcasting you specifically, but I'm talking to you because we're dealing with you. You know, a lot of us up here, we come from that world. You was like, when I was watching it, I ain't gonna lie, I was high. Now, you as an elder and a seasoned elder, it's a certain responsibility that you have, right? You can't do what they do. You got to set the standard and have them follow you, right? You know what I'm saying? So that herb that you put in that Swisher Sweet,
I'm comfortable with it.
I mean, you can be comfortable with it, but don't get comfortable with filth and destruction, right? You got to understand it and then change. Repentance means change.
Right.
You can come from that. And it's all right to notice mistakes within yourself. We self-examine. That's why I call 2 Corinthians 13:5 before. Because we self-examine daily, right? You know what I'm saying? We try to change ourselves daily. What you got, King?
Hey, because the elder was talking about love, that he loves the Most High God, or somewhat loves the Most High God. This is the book of 1 John chapter 5 and start at verse 2. By this we know that we love the children of God. When we love God and keep His commandments.
And what?
And keep His commandments.
No, cherry pick.
And keep His commandments.
Now, just a few of them.
And keep His commandments.
Go ahead.
For this is the love of God.
This is the love of God, elder, right? That we keep His commandments, right?
That we keep His commandments, and His commandments are not grievous.
And it's really not even hard. When we really think about the things that the Most High requires us to do, it's not even hard. We just been conditioned to do the opposite, right?
I want to add something to that. Like you say, you do some of them, right? So imagine the analogy. You married, brother?
No,
So say you're dealing with someone, right? A woman, right? And she says she loves you. She verbally says it to you, but then she goes against everything that you ask and require her.
Just do some of it.
She just do it sometimes. Now I don't know about you, brother, but I'm gonna start questioning the integrity and how much love this sister say she got for me. And that's the same way the Heavenly Father feels about His children. If I've given you commandments, you say you love me, but you do some of them. Now I got to even question if you mine.
Hey, that's why he loves some of us.
I'm gonna say this. Before you got to where you at now, right? You was walking, you was crawling, right? All right, then you begin to walk, right? Then you begin to learn. After you begin to learn who Jesus and God really was, and you done changed your life, then you begin to follow that light for God, right? It takes some of us a little bit longer to get to that.
That's true. We don't deny that. We don't deny that. Go ahead.
1 Corinthians 13 and 11.
Bring it out.
When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, when I became a man,
When you became what?
when I became a man,
What is he looking at?
when I became a man,
Hey, we men of the Lord up here.
That's
A
right.
lot of those things that we were dabbling with in our childish past, we become men now. So now
I put away childish things.
we got to put those things away,
Come on now.
right? We got to put those things far away from us, like it says in the book of Job, right? Go ahead. Let's hit on that.
This is Titus chapter 2, verse 1.
Bring it out.
But speak thou things which become sound doctrine, that the aged man be sober,
That the what?
That
the aged man be sober,
That's right.
grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience.
You see that? These are the qualities that you're supposed to have as an elder, right? Now I get it. Trust me, King. We get it because we
Say it
come from
again.
that.
Read it again for the
Read it
brother.
again. I'll praise it. What's the one in Sirach?
Chapter 2, verse 2.
That's a good one.
That the aged man be sober.
That the what?
That the aged man be sober.
The first characteristic is to be sober,
Meaning clear thinking.
clear-minded, not just not giving too much wine
Or weed.
or weed, right? Which that's a part of it, but it's also the doctrines of the world. You got to be sober and watch from those understandings.
And the reason they say this is because when we dealing with these other nations and they be having counsel and hiding, like having special meetings. If you are high all the time, how are we going to be able to counsel about how we going to counteract what they're trying to do? We have to be sober-minded, so clear thinking, so we can counter what they're trying to do against us.
Hey, the scripture says that the enemy is like a roaring lion seeking who he may devour. How you gonna notice him if you high? He gonna creep up on you and take a bite out your ass. Like you. You know what I'm saying?
It depends on what it
It depends on, say it again?
It depends on what the high do to you.
Okay.
I see what it is.
So I got a high you need to hear about. Let me get that Romans 13.
Nah, let me say something.
Watch this high. Watch this.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11.
Bring it out.
And that now, knowing the time, that now it is high time.
It is what?
It is high time.
It is what?
It is high time.
What is it?
It is high time.
It ain't high time like the magazine.
That's right.
It's high time, meaning right now is what?
High time to awake out of sleep.
To do what?
To awake out of
To
sleep.
do what?
To awake out of sleep.
It's high time to come out of the ways of this world, King, because they give you these things in order to destroy you. Now, don't get it wrong. We know that the herb is medicinal, and it's an herb, just like spinach, cilantro. You wouldn't roll up no broccoli and smoke it, would you?
No.
You wouldn't, right? It's a certain way to intake it, and not smoking it. That's a form of witchcraft. We know and understand that. However, right, when you use these things to it was at one point in the world, right, or in times past, the different forms of marijuana, they had stems and seeds. Now they got legs and eyes,
Man.
and beards and hairs. You gotta be mindful of what you're putting in your body, King, right? Because these different toxins can have effects on you in later time, it might not come out right now.
That's right.
But you turn that you 59, you turn 64 and start growing a horn. You gotta think about what you were smoking, King.
It ain't balanced.
It's not natural, right? And everything with the Most High is natural. Seed, herb with, of the field with seed bearing seed, right? This weed that they dealing with now don't have no seeds. You should be scared of anything that don't have a seed.
I'm gonna say this.
Do you understand what I'm
And
saying, King?
I fully understand what you're saying.
Okay, I got you.
It's just like you drinking wine, right?
Right.
It's okay to drink wine as long as you don't get drunk, right?
That's
Right.
right.
But if I can smoke weed and still stay focused, and my understanding is on point. I'm
But
good.
this is the problem with 1 Corinthians 3. Okay, this is the problem with it.
Now I'm gonna hit you with this God given. Go ahead.
It is. The herb is God.
Yeah.
It's meant. The herb is meant for medicine, but it's a way to intake it and ingest it. Go ahead. Watch this. Who's stepping on the cord?
You on the cord.
Go ahead. Do whatever you got.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 38 and verse 4.
Bring it out.
For the Lord hath created medicines out of the earth,
Right.
and and he that is wise will not abhor them.
Well, what?
Will not abhor them.
So we understand that there's medicinal weed and there's teas, there's oils, right? There's lotions that you can use in order to combat the ailments of the body. However, when you roll it up in a cigar or whatever how you partake it and smoke it, that's a form of witchcraft. That's a practice, right? And then that smoke that you put into your lungs are not meant to inhale smoke. That's why when you inhale it, what do? You cough. Because your body is not supposed to be intaking that.
Right.
It's a way to intake it. It's an herb. You can eat it. You can drink it. Right?
What was that word you were just saying? Abhor? What was
Abhor, it means hate. You're not going to hate medicine, right? And we know that there's certain medicines that the Most High has created is for the betterment and healing of the nation. But the way you ingest and take marijuana, it's a form of wizardry, right? You know what I'm saying? That's why you get high almost instantly, right? Because your intake is not supposed to be like that.
That's why
right?
it
What you got?
spirit.
I know everybody holding something, but Ken was holding something. I don't know what you got, Ken?
I got
Acts chapter 17:30. Because the most
That's right. Go ahead.
yeah, we were all where you were, brother, on that side, and the Most High understands that you have to come over to this side of the light.
Come.
So here goes Acts chapter 17 verse 30.
Bring it out.
And at times of this ignorance, God winked at, but now commandeth all men everywhere to repent.
Come.
To repent.
Repent.
What?
To repent.
You see that? So in times past, the Most High may have winked at your ignorance, even before, up until today. When you was watching that video the other day, and the pastor showed you what Christ looked like and who the people were, that was the form of the Most High winking at your ignorance and still having mercy on you, still dealing with you, still showing you something. But look, God forbid, now knowing and understanding these things, you leave here and go roll up that swisher. Hey, the Most High might require something of
He
you.
might switch you, brother.
Right.
Might roll you up.
Come, right? What you got, kid?
Come. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 10.
Bring it out.
And with all deceivableness
Uh-huh.
of unrighteousness
Right.
in them that perish,
Right.
because they receive not the love of the truth.
Not what?
Not the love of the truth.
What's the truth? Y'all can say it.
The law.
Statutes and commandments.
The laws according to Psalms 119,
142.
142, Psalms 117 and 2. The law is the truth.
That's right.
And it's a law not to partake in witchcraft, right? And rolling blunts is a form of witchcraft, right? Go ahead.
I
Watch
thought
this.
witchcraft was bringing the dead back, speaking to the dead.
That's familiar spirits, and it's
And
a lot of different forms of witchcraft.
Uh,
Hey man, watching the news is witchcraft, right? A lot of this stuff we see on TV, music is witchcraft.
So the weather app is witchcraft.
Right, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff in the world is witchcraft. Disobedience is witchcraft. Being stubborn is witchcraft.
That's right.
Right?
With your own people.
Well,
That's right.
Let me ask you this.
I'm gonna finish this up for the
Oh, don't forget your question though.
this is for the herb.
Go ahead.
And for this cause, the Most High God shall send them strong delusion.
Send them what?
Strong delusion.
Send them a strong pack, a strong 3-5 to put you under what? Delusions. Right? What you got, King?
This is Romans chapter 8, verse 5.
Bring it out.
For they that are after the flesh do mind things of the flesh.
Right.
But they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit.
You see that?
For to be carnal minded is death,
Yeah.
but to be spiritual minded is life and peace.
So when you operate in the spirit and you focus on spiritual things, it's going to bring you life and more peace in abundance. But when you focus on the flesh, you're going to need that strong patty. You're going to run to it. You're going to crave it, right? Because you operate in the flesh and not in the spirit. What you got, Kelly? Okay.
Because the carnal minded is enmity against God.
See that?
For it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can it be.
See that? It's not. It's direct opposite of God when you operate in the flesh. It's enmity or division from the Most High God. Right? Go ahead.
So then they that are in the flesh cannot please God.
Say what?
They that are in the flesh cannot please God.
It's impossible to please the Most High God with your flesh, right? Because our righteousness is of a filthy rag. Even the things that we do in righteousness, we fall short from how the Most High requires, right? What you got? I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna come right back.
This is dealing with the flesh, right? This is Galatians chapter 5 and verse 16.
Bring it out.
This I say then, walk in the Spirit.
Do what?
Walk in the Spirit.
Do what?
Walk in the Spirit.
Read.
And ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh.
Man.
For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit,
Uh-huh.
and the Spirit against the flesh.
Right.
And these are contrary one to another.
They are what?
Contrary one to another.
So your flesh is gonna tell you, yeah, man, go on and get that 3-5, roll that thing up. But your spirit is gonna tell you, I really need to stop doing this. I really need to put this behind me. I'm past this now. But your flesh is gonna, nah, go on and get down one more time, baby. Go on.
It ain't told me that yet, but I'm gonna ask you this. What did you find on this?
What, where? Through the spirit, I put it like the information always been there.
I'm for real about it. You know what I'm saying?
come.
Whenever I listen to somebody,
Yeah.
I like to go back and do my homework.
So we got a YouTube channel that you can tap into where we share a lot of information with the nation, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, the spirit is going to start to reveal things to you.
That's right.
I didn't find the truth. The truth found me, right? You know what I'm saying? I was chasing knowledge, and the Most High showed me wisdom, right? You know what I'm saying? Knowing is knowledge, but being able to apply it is your wisdom, right? So,
Hey, Sirach 1919.
Con. Hey, what do y'all get Sirach 1919?
Come.
Sirach 1919.
This is brother. This is Ephesians 6, chapter 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Against what?
Spiritual wickedness in high places.
So it's not you even telling yourself to do this. The Most High putting a spirit on you to crave to these things. It's a spiritual demon that's in high places. Because understand and believe it or not, the Most High control both sides. He can send you an angel to redeem you for this if you pray for it in sincerity, that he'll take that spirit from you. Or he can send you a evil angel that'll keep encouraging you to go out so that you can be fulfilled. One thing I know, two things for sure. Every person on this earth has a lot, and you gonna fulfill that lot. The prophecy is 1/3 of us is going to understand, come back, and keep the laws and statutes, commandments to the best of our ability, and 2/3 of us is not. You gonna fall in one of those places, right?
That they all might be damned.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16 and verse 12. For there was neither herb nor mollifying plaster that restored them to health, but thy word.
But what?
But thy word.
But what?
But thy word, O Lord, which healeth all things.
That's a powerful precept, right?
That's powerful, bro.
Powerful precept, bro.
You get that, Lil?
Look, I gotta write that down in my
So
notes.
you talking about the herb that's gonna heal you? You talking about aspirin that's gonna heal you? You can talk about some Molly and Percocets that's gonna heal you. You heard your troubles, but it's the word of the Most High God that'll wake you up and heal you.
That's right.
It'll heal your spirit,
That's
right?
right.
Because it is not. See, it isn't. Man can destroy your flesh, right? But the Most High can destroy your flesh and your spirit.
That's right, right? So these things, these different forms of medicine that can heal your members means nothing if your spirit is still vexed. Your spirit is still sick, right? You know what I'm saying? What you got, King?
It's Romans 7 and verse 15.
Hey, brother's bringing it out, man. Grab something if you want to.
Right, Romans 7 and 15. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that I do not.
Right.
But what I hate, that I do.
Paul said, hey, what I want to do, I can't seem to do. But what I hate doing, I can't stop doing it. Right?
Feel that way sometime, brother? No. You don't feel that way sometime? Okay.
Good.
So I'm going to keep going. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good. Now then, it is no more that I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me.
But who?
But sin that dwelleth in me.
And we know through study that the wages of sin is death. Right? Go ahead.
For I know, for I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good, I find not. Right, so we just bringing this out because I ain't
You good, King? You good? How you doing, sister? Come, I hand it to you, Nachi. Hey, with that, I say, Kwame Ashala.
Kwame Ashala.
Kwame Ashala.
Kwame Ashala.